WWE Survivor Series War Games is just around the corner. In this past Friday night on SmackDown, Bronson Reed was added to the new Bloodlines team. That points to one direction: the OG Bloodline and Roman Reigns having to recruit Seth Rollins to join them. Obviously, there's a lot of history between Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins, and a lot of people online are saying that this makes no sense and is a bad choice. But let me tell you why it may not be as bad as you think. So obviously, yes, let's get the obvious out of the way. Seth Rollins did go to war and, battle with Cody Rhodes to try and end the reign of terror that was Roman Reigns and the Bloodline this past WrestleMania at WrestleMania 40. And even extending back further to that, these guys have been at each other's throats for what feels like years at this point. The Seth Rollins-Roman Reigns rivalry is one of the best in the WWE and one of the best in wrestling, period. But why would it make sense for these guys to team up with each other at War Games? Obviously, from a let's just take it as we are, hey, I don't like you, why would I team up with you? Well, one obvious reason, of course, is to get your hands on Bronson Reed. Bronson Reed and Seth Rollins have been at each other's throats for weeks now, consistent brawls on Raw, but even going back further to that, in storyline purposes, Bronson Reed put Seth Rollins on the shelf. With, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I lost track of how many tsunamis this man hit him with, but it was a ton. If you join up with Roman Reigns in War Games and you swallow your pride, you get to be trapped in a steel cage with weapons with the man that you have been trying to get at week after week after week. That is a big plus right there. Put the ego aside and get to your goal of facing Bronson Reed. Seth Rollins could easily attack it from that angle. Romans, I don't like you. And Jimmy, I don't like you. But I'm cool with Jay and Sammy enough that I think that they'll have my back in the steel cage. I don't need to worry about you turning on me. And I can take on the guy that I've been feuding with in Bronson Reed. Logically, that makes sense. But there's even more to this that I think does make sense. War Games and Survivor Series alike has always been a point in time where foes have to be allies. Back when it was the SmackDown versus Raw Survivor Series matches, we constantly saw guys that were rivals on SmackDown or Raw teaming up with each other to having to fight for brand supremacy. Now, obviously, brand supremacy was a little bit of a lame reason, but my point being, it's not a new concept. Hell, it's not even a new concept to War Games. Let's go all the way back to last year's War Games. Randy Orton and Jey Uso were on the same team. Jey Uso was worried about it because, hey, that Randy Orton guy, me and him got beef. I put him on the shelf. He does not like me. But they teamed up for the same common goal. Seth Rollins has teamed up with Roman Reigns in the past, yes. Can they put their beef aside? I don't know. But can he team up with Jey Uso and Sami Zayn, his friends, to help them reach their goal? We've seen previously Seth Rollins is willing to put his pride aside and team up with Cody Rhodes, who, mind you, he wasn't a big fan of, to destroy the greater evil. Seth Rollins can team up with Sami Zayn and Jey Uso and Roman and Jimmy to take on, of course, Bronson Reed, who he doesn't like, but also he's not exactly a fan of this new bloodline. And who knows? They've been getting involved in shit on Raw over and over again. Maybe now that Bronson Reed is on their team, Bronson says, hey, you guys are my teammates. Let's go beat the shit out of Seth Rollins. And on Monday Night Raw, we could see Fatu, Solo, the Tongans just attack Seth Rollins and kind of not, get him into that match, but piss him off enough that he's like, you know what? I don't like Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns don't like me. But this isn't some tag team match where we got to work together. This is me in a steel cage with these 5 guys who can get this work. Roman Reigns is a good competitor and he'll be in there fighting too. But it's not like it's just a single tag between Roman and Seth. That's what it was at Bad Blood between Roman and Cody. And if those guys can work together, I think Seth Rollins can be on a team of 5, no problem. And obviously, for forward progression of where things are going to go, they kind of need Seth Rollins involved in this spot. 1, it makes the match better. 2, it gets Bronson Reed in the spotlight, okay? Like Bronson Reed going from where he was to main eventing a Big 4 pay-per-view in a match with Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, the Bloodline. That is a big deal. And if It's a little wonky to have Seth Rollins in there because of his history with Roman Reigns, but it gets Bronson Reed to that spot. I'm all for it just from a real life perspective. But 3, remember at Bad Blood, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson comes out, points at what we presume was Cody Rhodes, but maybe Roman Reigns, just kind of points at the ring. Hits him with the 1, 2, and then he switched it to this way, 3. I think that was you're 2 out of 3 strikes away from being done. I think that is how he was approaching that. Not you reach 3 strikes and you're done, but you're 2 out of 3 away from being done. Let's go over the strikes. Strike 1, embarrassing the family, losing the WWE Championship to Cody Rhodes. Strike 2, teaming up with Cody Rhodes against your family. Strike 3, teaming up with Seth Rollins against your family. Dwayne will be there. Dwayne will be there at Survivor Series. Dwayne will come out and he'll make it known that Roman Reigns is done because he teamed with Seth Rollins, because he went to the other side, the wrong side. Remember how much Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes were disrespecting the bloodline. For The Rock, this is an ultimate betrayal on his family by Roman Reigns to team up with these 2 guys and face off his own blood. Seth Rollins, while maybe it's a little wonky how we get there, is necessary for the bloodline story. And it makes sense to build to a Rock Roman match. And also, the last point I'm going to make on this is Seth Rollins is really fucking good in the ring. Like, can we just enjoy Seth Rollins in a War Games match? That is going to be exciting. Seeing him up in there with your, Solo Sikoa, Bronson Reed, Jacob Fatu. Could we get Fatu and Rollins to start off that match? That would just be excellent. Maybe we get Rollins and Fatu as the advantage match to determine who has the advantage. Like, getting him in the ring with those guys in a situation where we probably won't see him in the ring with those guys for a while is just exciting as a fan of the sport. It's the same reason that I'm happy Sami Zayn's in there. Sami Zayn Fatu, Sami Zayn, Bronson Reed interactions. Like, sign me up for all of that. This War Games match is going to be huge. It's going to be fun. There's a lot of interwoven storylines into it. Can Seth and Roman coexist? Will Roman not, treat Jay like an equal? Can this OG bloodline fight together? The new bloodline, do they really have what it takes to take out a star-studded team of Roman, Jay, Seth, Sammy, and then, Jimmy's good, but I don't know if I'd call him a star. And at the end of it all, if Team Roman is victorious, how does Dwayne feel about Roman teaming with another one of those guys that him and The Rock went to war with at WrestleMania in that 40-minute tag match to take out his own blood? I think it's pretty obvious how he's going to feel about that. While Seth Rollins at War Games teaming with Roman Reigns may be a little wonky feeling, it's wrestling. It happens all the time. Friends, foes have to fight together. And in this spot, it makes so much sense for the progression of everything else. We saw Roman Reigns team up with Cody Rhodes. We're going to see him team up with Seth Rollins. But as always, let me know your thoughts on this in the comments section down below. If you love WWE and you love wrestling, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'm going to be posting content just about every single day on this channel, talking wrestling with you guys. I'll catch you next time. Peace.